What's up, YouTube? Michael Sampson here. Just want to say F you. Yes, follow up. The number one thing that sales rep absolutely suck at in every niche, every industry from what I've seen is their commitment to follow up. A little about myself. I'm the Vice President of Inside Sales for Smart Haven. We're the largest reseller for telecommunications in Canada, and I've been the number one remote sales rep for the past 4 years. So with follow-up, number one thing that I see missing is that somebody will try to close a prospect and they never hear from that individual ever again if they don't buy on the first time. And I'm letting you know you're leaving a fortune on the table. An absolute gold mine is left on the table. So I forget the exact statistics, but there was something along the lines of a person doesn't buy until after the 7th to 12th contact of a follow-up. If that's even half true, ask yourself how many people are you leaving on the table? How much money are you leaving on the table for not consistently, persistently, and professionally following up with your prospects? So something that really helps when it comes to follow-up is booking a meeting from a meeting. What do I mean by that? So if you're in a sales presentation and they made it as clear as day that they will not be enrolling in your product or service, whether that's because it's a spousal objection, I need to think about it, I want to research, whatever the case is, you always want to set and book a follow-up meeting from the meeting. And you do that by giving them two options. So, Mr. Customer, can we circle back later today at 5 p.m. or would tomorrow at 12 p.m. work better for you? Tomorrow at 12 works. Okay, perfect. I'm going to put that in my calendar. Set that in the calendar. You'll hear from me tomorrow at 12. Now, when tomorrow at 12 comes by, what do? You pick up the phone and you call, right? Something as little as that, and you'll be shocked. The amount of time sales reps will say, hey, I'll touch base with you at this time, this date, and they go ghost. Just quiet as cricket. You don't hear anything, right? So you're separating yourself from so many other sales reps just by doing what you said you're going to do and follow up. Here's another tip. When you call these people back, you don't always want to say, hey, it's Mike, I'm following up. Hey, it's Mike, I'm following up. Hey, it's Mike, I'm following up. You don't want to sound like a broken record. So some little phrases that I like to use to switch things up is, hey, John, Mike, I just wanted to circle back. Hey, John, it's Mike, I just wanted to touch base. Hey, John, it's Mike, I haven't forgotten about you. I just wanted to give you more information. The bottom line and the goal is you want to keep the conversation going. You want to keep that conversation going. Unless that prospect and that individual told you flat out, dude, I'm not fucking interested, don't call me back. Then at that point, I highly suggest not being that guy or girl and following up, but, the decision's made. They gave you the no, a hard no, you can move on, which I'd rather get that than I need to think about it or I need to talk to my spouse because you know where they stand, right? And remember, it's all about collecting decisions. You either want a yes or you want a no. Tell me quick, tell me fast. I gotta go. You gotta get that decision ASAP, and that's the goal. Right? Now, when it comes to the follow-up systems, there's so many things that you could do in the back end. So nowadays, if you're working with a good company, they should supply you with a CRM software. There's things like Zoho, things like Go High Level, where these softwares will actually help automate the process. So what they'll do is you could have emails sent out. So every second day or once a week or how frequently you want, it will have an email drip campaign where it has information going on so you keep top in mind with that prospect. While there's text campaigns as well. So you could have these both going at the same time while you're calling, and I assure you, you will get a yes or a no rather quickly if you have your back-end systems in place, right? For the love of God, if you're not going to call these people, at the very least, have some type of automation in the back end to help collect the buying decision from these people, right? Because I could wholeheartedly say I can't say you'll double your income, but I could confidently say you'll add another 20 to 30 to 40% just by committing to follow up. I had a representative that I was mentoring, and this guy's mindset, this guy's belief was, if they don't buy from me that time, F them, I'm not talking to them again, and that's it. For the first, I want to say 6 months, first 2 months, he got super lucky. He had a horseshoe up his ass because everybody he would talk to, he would close, and it would reaffirm that belief that I don't need to follow up. Eventually, reality hit. His closing percentages slipped. He's not just selling lay down people or people that just want to give credit card in hand. And he started receiving some objections that he couldn't overcome that same call. And he realized, okay, I have to start following up. So he went from closing like 80% right down to 40%. But because we had a conversation about, dude, I told him straight up, I'm religious about follow-up. Like, I schedule it, I phone what I said I'm going to call. If they don't pick up, I'm leaving a voicemail, I'm circling back until I get in touch with them. They're either telling me, this is my mindset, they're either telling me F off, or they're buying, right? And again, I do this in a professional, very classy, very respectful way, but I invite you to adopt that mindset. I'm either getting a yes or a no. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next week. But long story short with that gentleman is he put a system in place, not as aggressive as what I do, but something that worked with him where he could touch base 1, 2 times, 3 times a week, and his sales shot right back up. It's funny because I want to say my mother is the person who taught me follow up, and why that is whenever I go visit her, she's super old school. She has like a phone book of people from back home in Jamaica and all over the place. And she'll literally go through her phone book, call this person up. Hey, Janet, it's Winnie. How are you? Long time no talk. What's she doing? She's following up. Oh, it's so-and-so's birthday. Hey, so-and-so, happy birthday. Following up, keeping that relationship going, being top of mind. The same thing happens with, in sales and relationships, right? If you're a single individual, you see an attractive person, what do? You take them for coffee or whatever the first date is. It's follow-up number 1. If that goes good, follow-up number 2, you go on a second date. That goes good. Follow-up number 3, a third date, maybe to the movies or whatever. And you keep following up until you close, which could be they're your girlfriend, or you put a ring on it, or you get in bed. No, I'm just kidding. But you get the idea, right? It's very seldom you're going to go and close them day 1. You have to be committed to keeping that conversation going, developing, nurturing that relationship. And eventually, you will come to the point where you get a yes or a no. So, bottom line, to recap everything, if we're going to do 2 things, and again, let your learning lead to action, not just knowledge. If we could put these couple things in action, I think it would be a good step if you're not already doing. Number 1, if you're a lazy mother effer, get a CRM. Even if you're not lazy, get a CRM. It'll keep you organized. It'll keep you on point. You could calendar, you could schedule your appointments. Get a CRM where you could schedule SMS drip campaigns or email drip campaigns. Ideally, you want both going, so that's number 1. Number 2, when you can't close on the call, you book a meeting from a meeting. And again, how do we do that? Mr. Customer, can we touch base at this time or this time? They'll agree to one of the 2, or if they don't agree to one of the 2, you know what? Both of those times don't work for me. However, this time and date works for me. And another big tip with that, you always want to book these follow-ups within 24 to 48 hours, ideally. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It's all dependent on niche. It's all dependent on how long your sales process is. I have friends that are selling real estate, and that's a lengthy sales process. Solar, that's a lengthy sales process. But ideally, you want to have that follow-up within 24 to 48 hours. Why is that? You want to be top of mind. People are busy. People have families. People have work. People have kids. There's so much things going on. So you want to strike while the iron's hot. So always push for the same or next day. If the same or next day doesn't work, then however close you want to get that done to those 2 times, right? It's all about compressing time frames. It's all about getting as much exposure, as much information, peeling the onions as you can within those time frames. So I hope that helps. Like I said, FU, follow up, do it professionally, be persistent, be committed, and watch your income damn near double, because you're doing what 99% of other sales representatives refuse to do.